Welcome back, everyone. Well, up to this point in the course, you should be pretty well versed in the various landscape sculpting and painting tools. We've also edited some splines, added some of those to our landscapes as well, but we haven't actually talked all that much about what is all available in our Landscape Manage tab over here. In fact, if I select this selection of tools over here, we have done some work in our edit splines, but we haven't really talked too much about what else we can do here in this particular menu. So in this video, our goal is going to be to demonstrate how we can add another new landscape actor to our level. Now, there is another way known as world composition, which we'll cover in a later section of videos, that will allow us to add lots of landscape actors to our level. But the way I'm about to show you in this video is great for particular situations like these. So let me just show you some screenshots here. There are some games that have, some floating islands in them, something like this. Now, this is a scenario like in this screenshot right here where you might want to have a few different separate landscape actors. If I jump back to Unreal right now, you can see that in my map sculpting level, I currently only have one landscape actor, but we can have multiples. And that would be good for a situation like this where this floating island could be its own landscape actor. This floating island could be its own landscape actor. Another possible reason you might want more than one landscape actor in your level is for a situation like this. Now, this is from an old Sega Saturn game called Nights into Dreams. And what they did is they had a landscape kind of sandwiched with another landscape on top. They literally had a landscape flipped upside down in many levels, and your character would kind of fly between these two landscapes. So imagine this one being a landscape down here, and then another one up top that's just simply flipped upside down. Creates kind of a cool effect, if I do say so myself. All right, so how do we add another landscape to our level here? And that's an important distinction to make. This is our map sculpting level, but within this level, we have one landscape actor. Well, the way to do this is to come under our landscape manage mode, and in our list of tools over on the left, we actually want to select new landscape up at the top. It's going to prompt us to slot in a material. I can slot in my material instance right here, but that will cause me to need to slot in all my landscape layer info objects. I'm just going to keep this simple for now and just type in grass, not with 3 S's, and there should be my mground grass material in my starter content. And then, of course, I can enable edit layers for this as well. And I'm going to leave all these different quads and section sizes here, etc. And you can see it's showing me a preview right here as to how big my created landscape would be. This is one that is currently smaller, but that's fine. So just to show you, you can create landscapes of different sizes. So I'm going to create this by clicking this create button. And now you can see I've got my default landscape, which is just known as landscape. That's the one with the mountain. And then I've also got my landscape 1. And if I select this guy, you can see how it's kind of showing, well, you can see with my selection tool here, how it is showing the different areas of that landscape that I can sculpt upon. So let me do something here. I'm going to have my default landscape hidden here. I'm just going to hide that by coming under my world outliner and hiding that. And now you can see that landscape that I just added. So that's a real easy way to kind of visually see the difference here is in your world outliner, you can show and hide each respective landscape. And what I can do is I'm going to change the location of this current landscape. I'm just going to raise it up, I don't know, maybe 5,000 Unreal units. Probably even taller than that, something like 10,000. Raise that way up. And now if I show the other landscape, you can see how it is risen above. Now, Where this really gets to be a little tricky is knowing that when you're working with your different landscape editing tools here, you need to pick which landscape actor you want to affect. I've got my landscape 1, which is this current top level, and then my landscape, which is the bottom level. Let me rename this landscape 01 to be landscape underscore top. And you can see how that name has changed over here. So with my sculpting or painting tab selected over here, I can choose which one of my landscape actors I want to affect. So if I want to affect my landscape top, I can then come under and use my sculpting tool. You can see how the brush works on this landscape actor. However, I do not see my brush atop my other landscape actor. And then I can simply left click, add some mountains here. Let me jack up my tool strength here, right? And increase my brush size, something like that, right? Create some nice looking slabs like so. And that's how I can affect just that landscape actor. And again, you might want to hide out your other landscape to work on one at a time. Same thing can happen if you are painting. Now, again, I don't have, for this particular actor, my landscape material associated with it. But if you were to apply your landscape material to this, you could come under paint mode and paint this particular landscape actor separately from your second landscape actor. Now, in order to do something like flip one landscape actor on top of another, like we saw in that Nights into Dreams image I showed you a moment ago, the easiest way to do that would be to come into placement mode. And once we're in placement mode, you can select your bottom landscape actor. You can select your top landscape actor here. And once you've got it selected, you can hit the space bar once to bring in your rotational tool, or you can select that button right up there. And then you could simply rotate this 180 degrees, like so. Now, you're not going to see the bottom side of this landscape because this is currently not a two-sided material. However, if I lift this up and then let's go on down a little bit, you can see we can now see the underside. Now, an interesting phenomenon to note about this is if you have done something like I have done here by flipping one landscape actor around, if you then go to sculpt it, and I'm jumping back into my landscape sculpting tab, and I've currently got my landscape top as my landscape that I want to edit. Now, the controls here are going to be a little bit reversed. If I left click, it is going to sink it on down. And if I hold shift and left click, it's going to rise it on up. And the reason that those controls are seemingly flipped is simply because I flipped around the landscape actor. All right, guys, so that's a real easy means of adding some more landscape actors to your level. It's under the landscape manage mode, under new landscape, and just note that once you have added another landscape, you then need to specify, doesn't matter if you're in manage, sculpt, or paint, which landscape actor you want to affect with your various tools. All right, guys, that's going to do it all for this video. We will see you in the next one.